Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
We're here to take complex stories, the ones making headlines, and, well, make sense of them together, quickly, thoroughly.
Mm-hmm. And today we've got a developing situation right here in D.C. that definitely warrants a closer look.
Oh, do tell. What's happening?
We're focusing on recent reports about ICE operations targeting restaurants in the city. Our main source is a news piece from District Drama, published today, May 7th, 2025.
Okay, ICE raids. That sounds disruptive. So what's our goal with this deep dive?
Basically, to understand what actually happened, what the immediate reactions were, and maybe touch on the broader context. We want you, the listener, to get the key info without feeling overwhelmed.
Right, get you up to speed without the noise. Okay, let's dive in. What exactly went down on May 6th?
All right, so on Tuesday, May 6th, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, along with Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, they conducted operations at several well-known D.C. restaurants.
Operations, what were they looking for specifically?
The main focus seems to have been checking employment eligibility forms, the I-9s, and verifying the immigration status of the workers at these places.
Ah, the I-9 forms. Right, employer verification.
Exactly. It's about documenting that employees are authorized to work in the U.S.
And was this just one or two spots, or a larger sweep?
Well, initial reports, according to District Drama, suggest at least 10 establishments were inspected.
10? Wow. Okay, that's significant. That would definitely cause some disruption.
For sure. It interrupted business, created a lot of unease.
Can you tell us which restaurants were affected? Knowing the names really grounds it, I think.
Yeah, the article lists quite a few recognizable names. Let's see. Chef Jeff's, Millie's, Jaleo, L'Oreal Plaza.
Okay, those are definitely staples. Jaleo, L'Oreal Plaza, very popular spots.
Right. Also, Call Your Mother, specifically the Petworth location was mentioned. Pupatella in DuPont Circle.
Call Your Mother Bagels, Pupatella Pizza. Okay, keep going.
Ghost Burger and Zeppelin, both in Shaw. Then PJ Clark's downtown, and also Chang Chang, Chef Peter Chang's place.
That's a really diverse list. American, Spanish, Mexican, pizza, deli, burgers, Chinese. It really covers a lot of ground, cuisine-wise.
It does. It shows this wasn't confined to one type of restaurant or neighborhood. It really hit a wide segment of the D.C. dining scene.
And the immediate effect was chaos, uncertainty.
Pretty much interrupted service, like you said, but also just this a pervasive sense of unease.
Yeah.
For employees, for owners, even for patrons who might have been there.
I can imagine. So what have officials said? Did the mayor weigh in?
Yes, Mayor Bowser expressed deep concern. She noted it didn't seem focused on, serious criminal activity and called the operations disruptive.
Okay, so concern from the top.
And she specifically clarified that MPD, the local D.C. police, were not involved.
That's an important point. What about the restaurant owners themselves? Did they comment?
The article quotes Beau Blair from Millie's. He expressed surprise, disappointment. Said he thought the focus, if any, would be on criminals.
So similar to the mayor's sentiment, really.
Seems so. And there was an interesting instance mentioned at Pupatella. Apparently, when agents arrived without a warrant, management directed them to their corporate office.
Oh, and what happened?
Well, according to the report, no further action was taken on site at that location. So, a bit of pushback there.
Interesting. Shows they knew their rights, perhaps. What about community support? Any groups stepping up?
Absolutely. Organizations like Kizah and the Amica Center for Immigrant Rights were mentioned. They're offering legal help and resources to the workers who were affected.
That's good to hear. Crucial support in situations like this.
Definitely. A strong community response.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. How does this fit into the bigger political picture right now?
Well, the District Drama piece connects these actions to the current Trump administration's immigration policies, which are generally seen as quite hardline.
Right. Enforcement has been a priority.
Exactly. The article even mentions a recent initiative offering undocumented immigrants $1,000 to leave the country voluntarily using a government app, the CBP Home app.
$1,000 for voluntary departure. How is that being framed?
The administration apparently presents it as more cost-effective and, quote, dignified compared to forced deportation, which costs much more per person.
Dignified. Interesting word choice. So these raids seem consistent with that overall enforcement focus.
Yes, it seems to align with prioritizing strict enforcement, including in sectors like hospitality, known to employ many immigrant workers.
Understood. Now, you mentioned the article touched on public sentiment. What are people saying, maybe online or anecdotally?
Yeah, the report describes the general mood in D.C., especially in immigrant communities, as pretty tense. Apprehensive.
I bet.
Online, particularly on Reddit, apparently, there's been a lot of reaction. Anger, shame, fear, but also empathy.
Can you share any specific examples of what people are saying?
Sure. One quote captured was, going after folks busting their ass. I see as anti-American. That gives you a sense of the anger.
Pretty strong words.
Another quote highlighted the difficult situations some workers face. My heart breaks for them. Living 10 to a one-bedroom, working 80 hours a week, shows real empathy for their circumstances.
Wow. That puts a very human face on it. Were people worried about the restaurants themselves, the dining scene?
Yes, definitely. Concerns about potential labor shortages, maybe higher prices down the line, or even a drop in service quality. Someone was quoted saying, restaurant scene is about to plummet.
A bit dramatic, maybe, but it reflects real anxiety about the potential economic fallout.
It does. But the overall tone reported online was largely opposition to the raids and solidarity with the workers. Lots of sharing resources, offering support.
So more solidarity than support for the enforcement actions.
That's what the article suggests, yes.
Hmm.
While acknowledging some voices supported the enforcement, they seemed less common in the discussions analyzed.
Okay, so wrapping this part up, what are the broader implications here? What's the bigger conversation?
I think these raids have really sparked, or maybe intensified, a necessary conversation about immigration policy and how it directly impacts our city, our community.
Right, it's not abstract. It affects businesses, workers, the whole feel of the city.
Exactly. And it highlights how invested the city is, or tries to be, in the well-being of everyone who lives here, whatever their status.
And this debate, this advocacy, it's likely to continue.
Seems almost certain, based on the reaction so far.
Okay, so let's try and summarize the key takeaways from this deep dive.
All right, so on May 6th, ICE and HSI conducted employment verification raids at about 10 well-known D.C. restaurants.
A really diverse group of restaurants hitting many parts of the city's food scene.
Right. This caused significant disruption and unease. We saw strong reactions, concern from the mayor, surprise from owners, some pushback like at Putella, and a lot of community support mobilized quickly.
And this all fits into the context of the current administration's focus on strict immigration enforcement.
Correct. The public reaction, especially online, has been largely one of opposition, solidarity with workers, and concern for both the human impact and the potential economic consequences for the restaurant industry here.
It's clear this hits on multiple levels: policy, business, community, and just basic human stories.
Definitely. It touches a lot of nerves.
So, as we finish up, maybe a final thought for our listeners to consider.
Sure. I think it's worth reflecting on this. We know immigrant workers are incredibly integrated into DC's restaurant scene, really fundamental to its vibrancy.
Absolutely, it wouldn't be the same without them.
So the question becomes, what are the potential long-term effects, socially, economically, of these kinds of enforcement actions on a city that really prides itself on diversity in its food culture?
Yeah, beyond the immediate headlines, what does it mean for the fabric of the city, for the people involved, and even for the experiences we all enjoy when we dine out? Something to think about.
Indeed. The human stories behind it all.
Exactly. All right, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us. Stay informed. Keep asking questions.